So we heard you, and it's here. I just want to overview our launch phases here. This is the first phase launch of e-commerce. So this is symbolic giving focused. We plan to launch a full-fledged e-commerce platform next year, but right now it's focused mainly on symbolic giving in that you can build a product, you can create a store, you can process transactions, and you can add donations. But some of the features that will come out in phase 2, our full e-commerce launch, include things that are more specific to running a site like a Shopify kind of site where you have shipping and taxes calculated, inventory and things like that. So phase 2 will be much more robust. This is sort of the soft launch, symbolic giving. All right, I'm going to overview some of the features, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of actually demoing the product after some additional details. First, all of our templates out of the box are fully responsive. It's got customizable navigation. The content's customizable. We have new block types, feature blocks, feature products, which I'll show you later, that make it very easy to set up your pages. I just said that. Oh, no, the e-cards. Customizable, responsive, and schedulable e-cards. This is a great feature that I think you'll really like. So for each product you purchase, you can set up an e-card to be sent to the gift recipient and schedule for when you want that to be sent. So if it's something you're buying in December, but you don't want it to go to until Valentine's Day, you can do that. You can get order invoices and receipts. Product management features like SKU, price, sales price capabilities. There's a full shopping cart functionality. We do offer promotion codes and discount codes right now. I'm not sure what you would do with that in a symbolic giving store, but they're there. And we offer the additional donation feature so that when you're in the process of checkout, you can add an additional amount. And I think I mentioned separate e-cards already. All right, so what we're going to cover today is some basics. For anyone new in the room, who's launched an e-commerce site before? All right. For everyone who has not launched one, I'm going to just lightly touch on some of the details you might want to consider before going into doing this. Anyway, I'll do that in a minute. We'll go over the settings for e-commerce in the module, e-commerce page templates, creating products and categories in e-commerce, building your store, which is kind of the last step, and then some of the finishes. So I had a college instructor who always said finishes are very important. It's those little details that nobody wants to finish. Those are really important. All right, so quickly, I want to touch on knowing the difference. So as a previous fundraiser, I strongly encourage you to read up on your legalese before getting into e-commerce. This is just something that I felt was important to put in here for anyone who has not set up a store. There are basically 3 types of stores that nonprofits run. There's symbolic giving stores, and that's when you offer products like help protect coral reefs. It's not very specific. You're not saying protect this acre of coral reef in the Great Barrier Reef. You're phrasing it so that it's very generic. It's not restricted giving, it's symbolic giving. And there's a difference. They're premium gifts. Those are things like a shirt with your logo on it. Premium giving, there are specific IRS regulations that you should review before launching a store where you're doing premium giving. And then there is e-commerce. Straight e-commerce, there are legal and tax implications for businesses of all sorts, including nonprofits. So I'm not going to get into the details of all of those, and honestly, I'm probably not the best one to ask about them. We have wonderful vendors who can help you sort out all the details and legalese. But there is a link in here. When I share this out after the conference is over, this takes you to the IRS regulations page, and will give you some basic details and information. All right. Some basic tips for getting started before you start your e-commerce pages is have a plan. That's pretty standard. Have a purpose for your store, whether it's a holiday store or whether it's a Valentine's store or just an evergreen store that you're going to have on your page forever and ever. Have a couple goals, even if they're very basic goals. That's just helpful for gauging your progress. Have some ideas for testing and optimization. And then know how you're going to promote the store. It's fine. If all you want to do is put it on the website and that's your goal and that's your your term of promotion, that's fine. But you might want to consider some ways to put it out there in terms of newsletters, email, or advertising. And then assemble your assets, images, and copy. Some of those things in terms of assets that you will need, and I've put together some stock to make our demo flow nicely today, are images, autoresponder copy, your e-commerce invoice template, which that'll become more obvious what that is in a minute, your e-card copy, and how do I make that go away? Product copy. All right. So I'm going to pop in and out from here, out from the presentation to our actual demo pages and to Engaging Networks, so that we can actually walk through setting up e-commerce within Engaging Networks. But I'll start with a slide usually and then pop over to the platform. All right, so settings are a little bit different. If anybody in here has used Page Builder, you're going to recognize a lot of the settings. This is also built on the Page Builder platform. So there are a few different things that are here: e-commerce settings, navigation settings, and promotion codes. So all of these will look pretty standard right up here. And then you see e-commerce, navigation, and promotion codes. And I put a note to remind myself here, just as well as remind you, that make sure you set your page to live. And I'll show you what that means in just a minute. So hang on. All right. All right, so I have a full built site here, Australian Wildlife Conservancy, that we'll run tests on in the end. But in terms of building out products and doing our settings, we're going to play around with the Octopus Conservation Corps. All right, so for settings, you're going to go to your usual settings option. And I'm going to go through each one. When you create the page, you're going to want to name the page. Give it a public title to support Octo's work with a gift. Set your status to live. So it has to do with the visibility of the products. When you're creating the pages, the developers just told me to set the page to live. You're not promoting it. It's nowhere publicly visible right now. It's no harm to set it to live, but if you set it to new, like you do when you're creating a donation page, some of your products won't render properly. So just set it to live when you're testing. If you have a base URL, you want to include that, and your usual work through here. Before I skim through a lot of this, who here works in Page Builder regularly? Okay, so I'll cover a little bit more detail then. All right, so closed page and closed URL. If you close the page, basically that redirects you to either a page that says this page is closed, or the closed URL, you can have it go to the home page or a different donation page after the campaign is over for your store. Error page, typically most people in Engaging Networks have a standard error page set up. You can set this page to automatically expire, which I think is really nice for holiday stores or anything that's got a short shelf life. You can validate based on US addresses. Now over here, this is particularly important. This is your template, which we'll cover in just a minute. So you'll choose your page template here. This lists all of your page templates in the component library in Engaging Networks, but there are pages that are specific to e-commerce. So right now I have the page template shown or selected already, but I'll show you in a minute when we go over that, how to customize that. If you have attributes that you choose for your campaigns, you'll want to set that. You can do origin source, and then these are just unique to our testing environment here. So you're going to work down the list for donation settings, notifications, e-commerce, navigation, and promotion codes. So donations is your typical gateway, your payment gateway. Notifications, I will mention if you have someone in development who is fulfilling handwritten cards or actually putting t-shirts in the mail, you might want to add that here for them to be notified or something like that. E-commerce settings, you'll set your currency. You can change the position of where, I'm sorry, what is that? That's your $, before or after. Okay, time zone. Right now it's set to symbolic giving because we're not releasing physical products yet. And then allowed products, you can actually specify, what this does is it filters your product categories. So earlier, for instance, I had this tag filtered, but I hadn't tagged my products with Octo, and none of them showed up as options in my store. So you can actually, if you have a very robust catalog with 100 different products, you could say, I only want items tagged with Valentine's to show up in my Valentine's store. And then it would filter down those options and say, it would just make it a lot simpler to put it together. However, you can over-filter if you don't tag them properly like I did. Okay. And I'll show you how to set up your products in just a minute as well. Navigation, this is where you'll set up your navigation for this store. Now, again, in the Australian wildlife example, I've already built out the navigation, but for Octo, I have not. So we have a couple different categories that I've already set up in here. One is gifts, so t-shirts and mugs, premium gifts. One is saving wildlife, and one is saving habitat. So let's create some navigation right now. Let's say, save an octopus. We're going to link it to another page in eCommerce. And choose the category, which I set as protect octopuses, which is the correct plural of octopus. No, I thought it was octopi. It's octopuses. All right, and then if you choose to set promotion codes, you can create a new promotion code. Again, I'm not sure where this plays in exactly with symbolic and premium gifts, but when we get into the full store, or if you have, actually here's a good possible example. If you're running an online store and you want to give staff a discount at year end so that they can get shirts for their friends or family, maybe you offer 25% discount for staff in the store. So you can set those up here and then share the code out just like you would any other promotion. Okay. All right. So settings are saved and our store is live. Okay. If you guys have any questions as I go along, feel free to jump in and ask. All right, so we're going to go into page templates now. So you'll remember on the first page of the settings, I showed you templates where we chose the Octo template. This is our new page builder template, template builder. What are we calling that officially, John? Template builder? Blue, sort of. Master templates. Okay. Basically, it allows you to customize a template very easily. So I'm very excited to show this. If you guys didn't see the presentation by Mon yesterday going over that, then I think that this is a good sneak peek as well. You can do the same thing in donation forms, but this one is a little bit unique to e-commerce. So you can go into page templates. What we'll do is we'll go into page templates. There's an e-commerce template that will be enabled for you already when you're launched on e-commerce. Copy it. Don't overwrite your existing template. It gives you a good baseline to work with for future. If you want to create 5 different campaigns, you always have that original template that you can work from. So copy it and then start your customization on your new template. And then additional modifications can be made in the HTML, which I'll show you as well. All right. So to access your page templates, you're going to do the same thing you would if you went into page templates for donation pages. So you're going to go to Pages and Components and Templates. And then if you're creating a new one, you would just create a new template. In the case of e-commerce, I strongly suggest that you find that generic template and copy it. I'm going to show you what the generic template for me looks like. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 different versions here because this is one of our testing servers. You would hit duplicate over here and then start customizing from there. I've already done that, so we're going to go straight into the Octo e-commerce template and I'll show you how to customize that. Okay. So the standard one, I should probably show you what a generic one looks like, just for comparison. Hang on. This is kind of what it's going to look like out of the box, very generic. So you can add your logo, and all of this you do here on the sidebar, and then you can edit your HTML to make it really slick if you want to. All right, so for Octo e-commerce, I changed the background color to navy blue. You can change your font. We have a variety of options here that are sort of, typically we choose the ones that render best online. So you can choose from Georgia, I think Verdana's in here, Arial. Font color, font size, headings, font color, and your link color. which probably should not be blue on the gray, but I'm not going to change it right now. Your content blocks, you can change the background color of those. So that doesn't work well with my white font, so I'm going to change it back. All right. Button color, also customizable. You can customize the font on that and the font color on the button. And your navigation, so on hover, for instance, here you'll see I changed it to yellow. I think out of the box it is gray. We can change that. I have some generic fonts, colors here. So we'll do 3EBA0. All right. And then your logo is where you add your logo here, your file. The font color is this area here. And then you can choose your font size and customize the text. So this is out of the box, basic customizable functionality. So if you want to spin up a store really fast, you can do it all right here very quickly. Some really basic customization if you want a different header, if you don't like this shop to the support, if you don't like the look of that. You can do some basic things like Photoshop one big logo. So this is one big image that I put together that had the logo, the ribbon, and the font. And then drop the copy. So if you make this, get rid of the text, and make this 0, and you have one big banner image, then you can do that as a basic customization to give it a different look and feel. Okay. And then if you really want to do some slick customizations, just like anything in Engaging Networks, it's highly customizable in your HTML. You can change the header and the footer, and I'm told you can change the style of how the products are laid out, that it's pretty deep customization available. So I would recommend a developer do that, obviously. So let me get out of here. So that's all within the page template. There it is. Does anyone have questions about the page template? Nope. All right. Okay. All right. I find creating the products the most fun part because you're putting each product together. Some people like creating the store, but this is my favorite part. So the next step that I recommend is putting your products together. So putting the store together is kind of the last thing. You have a whole lot of things you need to do before you get to that point. So for putting the products together, you go to Pages and Components and choose Product Management. So just like you did your templates, these are all components within Engaging Networks, Product Management. You'll create a new product, a symbolic gift, which I'll show you in a minute, add copy and images. You can add related items, which is really nice. Quick example of that is if you select Australian birds, you'll see here related products. So it's kind of a nice way to upsell if somebody sees something they like. Okay. And then be sure to launch. So Ben helped me with that this morning. I said, my products aren't showing up in my store. And he said, you have to launch them. Typically, I'm used to switching things to live. This is similar to marketing automation, you said, where you actually have to launch it. Ben, do you want to explain why you have to launch it?
Yeah, sure. So the reason you have to launch it is because we keep track of stock and those kind of things. And so something can either be launched or it's not. And the reason that it needs to be that in between is because we don't want you to switch it to test, and then you sell some of the things, and you switch it back to live, and your inventory is all screwed up and that kind of thing. So products either have to be on or off. So they're launched or they're no longer active.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, so let's create a product. So we're going to go Page Components, and down here, Product Management. All right, and let's create a new product. Which one? Save an Octopus or T-shirt? T-shirt, perfect. Okay. So choose symbolic gift. Premium gift is specific to the premium giving donation pages. Similar functionality in terms of setting up as a component in the library, though. All right. Okay. And then I have some canned copy here because I thought ahead and put my copy together. Saves time. There we go. And a SKU is required. Now, if you have a store, say you're a museum or botanical garden or something like that, and you have a store, then you can actually link your SKUs. So you could have the same SKU for the t-shirt that you have on the shelf as the t-shirt that you're offering in the online store. It's up to you. It's required, so if you don't have a SKU, just enter a generic number. Okay, and our price for t-shirts is $75. We do not have a sale price. You're going to choose your category, which is Octo Gifts. And if you want to tag it, you can. Now, a symbolic gift template, this is the e-card functionality. So for each gift, I didn't have time to create an e-card for every single gift. But if you wanted to, you could. So if you wanted mom, everyone's mom, if you're doing a Mother's Day campaign, if you have 3 different birds that you're featuring in your store, and each one you wanted to have a very specific e-card, so that if I gave the goldfinch to my mother, if that's the gift I was giving her, that she received an e-card that had the goldfinch on it. You could create a customizable e-card that was linked to that product that the donor can send to their family member. Or you can have a very generic one that will list the product, but it's not going to be as specific. It'll say, Kathy Powers donated 1 goldfinch in your honor to blah, 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 blah. Versus if I customize the card, it could have a big, giant picture of a golden finch at the top. Make sense? Okay, so you have that option to create templates for every single product if you want to, or you can have a generic one. In this case, we just have a generic one, so I'm going to select that. All right, and add an image. Just give me a second to find it. T-shirt was a good example to choose because we have product variant options. So for product variants, you can set up as many variants in here as you want. You can say, I don't know, variant by weight, by species. You can get as specific as you want. Typically, it's size and color. So in this case, we have 1 white T-shirt in different sizes. So let's add an extra small. And can I drag and drop that, John? No. Okay. It's still in alphabetical order. All right, so use that option. All right, and again, if I want to do related products, I'm going to say they're interested in gifts, so I'm going to link the donation to the mug. And just in case they love blue-ringed octopuses, I'll add that as well. All right, and save. There, we created a product. It's pretty easy. Any questions about product creation? Yes?
If you wanted to link them to a size chart somewhere else, where would you do that?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know if the description is, and again, I should have said this before, bear with me because it's just launched on Friday. Let's go see, because John's got a point. I don't know if we can customize the HTML in here. You could do a bit.ly link in the description, say view a sizing chart here, or you can also from the navigation add more detailed information, or things like that. So, but that's a good question. Let me show you how to launch this product now that we've got it out. Just click on it. Make sure you launch your products. And that's it. If you're out of stock or you change your logo and you want to retire the product, you're just going to choose retire and it will be gone from your store and gone from your options. It'll still show up here as retired or inactive, but it won't be available online anymore. Okay? All right. We're breezing through this. So next one is build your page. So we've done some fun stuff now. We've put the template together. We've done the settings. We've created a product. I'm just trying to think if I want to create one more product. Let me do one more. just because it makes a better store to put together. Okay. Oh, and I will show you a really nice feature as well after this one. You can choose multiple categories as well if you're interested in that. I think, yep. So if you have something that's relevant to multiple categories, you can do that. Add an image.
Jumping back to the question about size chart.
Yes.
In the description, you can actually insert a href in there, so you could then make it.
So you can do that? Okay, terrific. That's awesome. Let's test it. We'll see. All right. No variants for this product, and related products will do the blue-ringed octopus again because they like protecting octopuses. All right. Okay, 2 new products. Let's launch it. Okay, fantastic. All right, so building your page. We're going to go into Page Builder now and find the page or create a new e-commerce page. Each page in e-commerce is highly customizable. There are basically, I think, 6 steps or 6 options for customization, and then you can add additional ones as well. And then any deeper customization you want, again, you can go into that HTML. So if you want to customize your cart experience or your product rendering, you can do that in the template, the HTML template. And if you have any advanced customization needs that you don't think you can handle, ask a partner. They're really good at fine-tuning our tools. All right, so let's get in here. Pages, manage pages. And if you're creating a new page, I'm going to show you the steps for that, but then we'll pop over into the octopus example. All right, so if you're creating a new page, you would choose eCommerce. And then it takes you to your settings. So that's the settings aspect where you would have done all of those steps that we did in the beginning. Okay. All right, so now we're ready to create the actual page itself. All right, so here you'll see homepage up here, category list, product view, checkout, billing, shipping and payment, and your order completed. So your home page is typically where most people are going to land, where you're going to link to. You can customize this. The template I created had the navy blue background and the gray background for the products and the sections. You can see here the navigation where we created the hover that's teal, I guess. And we have feature areas. So I'm going to remove these, and then we'll add them back in. All right, this is a text block I added. So I felt like the store needed a little bit of information at the top. Let's make it really clear. All donations are for the general fund. Okay, and then in your panel over here on the right, you have a new option for e-commerce down here. So you have featured products list, and you have a featured item block. So featured item block was that block at the top where it had one item and a big description. This is sort of an opportunity to say, check out our, it's very e-commerce, check out our clothing line, or check out our new listings for endangered places or something like that. Or you can just feature one particular thing if you have a hot item like support our dog meat teams on the ground in what country, Gabby? South Korea. That could be something you wanted to feature. So we'll put a feature block up here at the top underneath our text block. Thank you. You can add an image. So we're going to go with the Great Barrier Reef. Okay. Let's add some stock copy. All right, now our buttons default to buy now. You can customize this to say add to cart or donate now, whatever you're more comfortable with. And it can go to a featured product or a category. So you can direct it to one specific product or a category. So if I'm sending them to a category, it's going to take them to a category page. You probably don't want to say add to cart. You could say see more. If you're sending them to one product, you could say buy now or add to cart. So up to you to customize. So maybe we'll send it to products. Where are you? Okay. All right. So now we have the Protect the Great Barrier Reef option, and I can add it straight to the cart from the home page. Now, featured listings is featured products list is a little different. So this is a little bit more customizable in that you can say, I want all the products from my Protect This Species line to show up here. So you could add a feature or a title up here that says Protect. So think of these more like blocks of different content, not just featured content. And then you can choose your products from here. Okay. There we go. You can display the price or not. You can display the product name or not. Probably a good idea. You can randomize what shows up and then hit save. Now there are 3 options here. I only selected 2, so I'm not sure exactly how that's going to shake out on the page. I would recommend using 3. However, if you use 4, like I did on this page right here, oh, I had 4 selected. Maybe I didn't save it. It'll actually give you an arrow to scroll through. Okay. So we're protecting species. We could add this as a featured items option if we wanted to, but we're going to do another section of protect habitat. Okay. Hang on. Or actually, let's do featured for this one. Habitat, donation, or t-shirt. We'll do the t-shirt we created. And I feel like I'm shopping. Let's add 4 just to see. Okay. Okay, so we have 3 sections now on our homepage. I'm going to do a preview so you guys can see what that looks like. What? John? I don't think it logged me out, do you? Just give me 1 second, everybody. That's weird. I thought in settings I set it to live. All right. Alrighty, so here we go. Okay, so it's a 3-spot requirement. So if you have only 2, there will be a blank spot. But you'll see here the arrow, because we choose 4 different things, like that. You can add multiple images to products as well. So if you have 4 different views of this t-shirt or 3 different pictures of the blue-ringed octopus, you can add all of those to the product itself. So when I click through on the shirt or on the blue-ringed octopus, I would see those options. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one. Any questions so far? Nope. Okay. You guys are very quiet. Am I boring the pants off of you? All right, so the next one's category list. This is where you can each of these sections, just like in Page Builder, gives you an option to say you can customize navigation. That's done. I think that would actually link me back to the settings where we set those in the beginning. Here you can customize your category options. So just scroll over the block and click Edit. And you can choose labels, so you can filter by price, you can filter by recency, is it new, is it old, on sale. I think for most of our stores at this point, we'll unclick that. And you can filter by tags. So if I had multiple tags for the octopuses or for the work that we're doing, then you can filter by that as well. So hit save, you'll see here, I think those are examples. Let's go to our store here. So the only tag I have operating right now is Octo, so you'll see that shows up as something that I can select. So if I unselect that, when I'm editing here, that won't show up, but I will say that Protect Octopuses will show up. It doesn't change the layout of the page, it just eliminates filtering by tag as an option. Okay. So category is pretty easy. All right, you can add copy to these pages, any of these pages, by clicking on your components. You can add, just like in Page Builder, you can add HTML elements, so code blocks, you can add images. So if you wanted to build out the store with pretty pictures or a little bit more detail about that, about checkout or about shipping, things like that, then you can do that. All right, you can customize your product view. So just like we saw on the product page in the AWS one, when I select the bird, you'll see how this shakes out here. You've got the main item and then you've got related products. You'll see here that I added social sharing to that particular item. So that's really easy to do, just like you do in Page Builder. You would just come over here and click social details and share buttons and drag them and drop over. Actually, I take that back. Those are built into, this is what Dan told me, built into all of the products. So sharing is native to the product display. If you want sharing to appear on your home page, then you have to drag and drop it in, or on any other subsequent pages. So, what else can I do to this page? Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. All right, checkout. Let me add something to my cart here. Here's your cart, which is nice. You'll see here you can customize your checkout experience. Now, there are a couple components of this page. You have the product itself that people have added. They can change the quantity, which is great. They can add a promotion code. Down here we have the increase your impact section, so you can add a donation, which is terrific. So if you want to customize those things, you're just going to scroll over again and hit edit. You can say increase your impact. The stock copy in here was to overcome poverty, so we're going to say top up your gift and help more octopuses. Seriously. We can remove the option to include the promotion code. Probably not a bad idea. You can customize a lot of the phrasing here in the cart experience. And then here's where you're going to edit your values. So the little text above it here, that's where you edit in that text box, and below it are the values. So let's make it add 25. The last option always defaults to other, so if you fill in that last one, make sure you provide an option for other and leave that blank, and they'll fill in the value themselves. Okay. And there you go. All right, so I'm going to add to my cart another 100. Okay, so we'll go on to the next step, which is billing information. Now, out of the box, the billing information is a little bit vague. So I already, in the AWS option, let's add this to the cart so you can see, added a text option here for billing information, just to make it more clear. So to do that, you're just going to click your components, drag a text block over, and drop it in. Oh. Okay. There you go. And there's really not that much more information. I mean, you can customize it however you want, but I'm not going to do much more to the billing information page. John, if you think you need to add anything anywhere, let me know, okay? All right, the next page is a little bit important, the shipping payment page. So part of the experience in order to send the e-cards was that you completed this last step altogether. Otherwise, we were concerned about people leaving before they processed payment or forgetting to send their e-cards. So it's one big process. So what I mean by that is, let me get past this. All right. I added copy to the top of this page as well, because the final step is fill out your e-cards and send them and submit your payment in one step. So if you don't scroll all the way to the bottom to complete your payment, you don't finish your payment. So in order to send your e-cards, I'm going to show you the experience real quick so you can see it. And it looks like my template doesn't include a picture, so I probably should add that here. You can either send an e-card, send as a physical card, or send no card. So send as a physical card, Ashley's looking at me like, wow, you're cool. How you can do that? Send as a card basically outputs a report that you can take to your development team or handwrite the cards or send them to a fulfillment company for somebody else to write the cards. But it gives people the option to send a physical card. There are a couple groups I know out there that do this very well, and people love it. So it's a less expensive thing than doing t-shirts or something like that, but a very nice way to send a gift to a friend or family member. So we'll say send as an e-card for this purposes of this. And and I can schedule my card just like I mentioned earlier. You can schedule it for birthday time. All right, I'll get to the payment in just a second. But if you don't go all the way down, it's not going to submit. Let me get out of full screen here. Thank you. All right, I'm going to submit my payment. No. And then the final screen is your thank you screen. So back over to our customization. So you'll see shipping and payment information. You might want to add a little information about, make sure you go through the whole page and complete your order and send your cards. And then the order completed is where you're going to say thank you. So simply just drag and drop your components over. Add a video. The year-end video would be terrific. Okay. And that's it for setting up your page. Any questions about setting up the store? Yes.
If you're not doing the donation, you're doing items, does the system set up an order number that they can get on that autoresponder page? Like, do we have anything like that in this?
So yes, so all that information, which I'll show you in just a minute, and the next step is you have a receipt number, an order ID, a create date, all of that information can be added. Let's go see if we can add it to the actual thank you page, though.
So they get a thank you page and then they get a receipt?
Yes, yes. And,
Oh, that's the email receipt.
yep. And the email receipts for e-commerce sort of take us to a next level, so we can roll up, we itemize each transaction in the receipt with a total donation. So if I donated it for a t-shirt and to save an octopus and to protect habitat, then that shows up as each individual line item with a total donation amount at the bottom, like this. Here I saved a kangaroo and I protected the Great Barrier Reef, and I made an additional donation for a total of $450. So I like that functionality. But let's see if we can add it to the thank you page. It's an excellent question. So it looks like it's there. General, I'm assuming it's under general. I just want to see if there are e-commerce options. Hang on. No. And okay. Save it. Just going to test it real quick. Make sure it works to fully answer your question. Works. All right. You had a question, Gabby, right?
Yeah, if you have different currencies that you need, would you have to set up locales as you do?
Yes. Yes. In fact, Dan's example, when he set up the templates, did have a foreign character product in here. I pulled it out because it was a really bad picture of a chair icon, but it had Chinese characters in it. So this has full locale functionality and multi-currency functionality as well. Great question. Yes.
This is off topic, I apologize, but just like how in this e-commerce pages you can do a different shipping address and billing address in case it's like a gift for somebody else, can your premium pages do that? The new premium tool?
I have not had deep experience with that. John says yes. Nice. All right. And that's not off topic. It's very similar. All right, cool. No other questions so far? Yes.
So say if someone writes in and their email didn't get to the person, is there an easy way to resend that for someone? Or would that be like...
I don't know. Can we resend e-cards, John? Or can users resend them?
From the e-card page, you can do that from the dashboard. I'm just not sure how if we've actually built a support dashboard yet for this.
Okay.
I suspect we haven't, but we'll do it.
All right, and so the last step that I want to make sure that nobody overlooks when you're building out your e-commerce pages are those finishes, those last touches, which are the autoresponder, your invoice, and copy on the order completed page, which we already touched on. So your order completed page, you can add that video, that text, your transaction ID, so basically your receipt information if you'd like to. But let's touch on the autoresponder and the invoice really quickly. To get to those, you're going to want to get out of here, and we'll go back to that, but sorry. And go back to your page components. And the first one we'll look at is the invoice. So you're going to go to tickets and receipts. And there are two in here. The first is the e-card template. You can manage your e-card templates in here as well. So again, if you wanted to create one for every animal in your catalog, you could do that in here. Right now, we just, for this example, used the generic one, or for AWC, I created a generic one. And then the other one is the invoice template. So I have here the eCommerce invoice. So what I did was just went into that and copied the code. And then created a new template for this particular store. So something I also learned in creating this is original receipt is relevant to donations. You want this to be an e-commerce invoice. Okay. All right, so here let's add our logo. Oops, sorry. All right. And say thank you. And then a lot of the stock copy is in here as well. So you've got your order summary, your additional donation. This will repeat for their different products. So multiple products will show up down here. Purchaser details and payment details. Easy. All right, so now you have a new e-commerce enabled invoice that you can use in your transactions. All right, so then let's go back to our store. And where you're going to do these last touches are the autoresponders. So your thank you email. Your thank you email is your thank you email. So your thank you email can just be something warm and fuzzy, and then they get their receipt. Or you can, I would always put the transaction information in the thank you email personally, but it's highly customizable. It doesn't have to be a receipt, just putting it out there that you can make it what you want. For this one, I used eCommerce email 1. It's just something in our library. And then I'm going to customize that. Okay. So it's very much transaction-based email. Okay. So that's the one that I've chosen for this. You can customize it however you want. You can add warm and fuzzy copy and pretty images if you want to. You're going to link your invoice here, Octo e-commerce template. And what this allows you to do, this is kind of cool. So if you wanted to have a warm and fuzzy email that was just very personalized and had some nice content specialized to the donor, you could do that. And then you could link to download the receipt. So then they get a PDF of their receipt along with their nice email. Does that make sense? Okay. So a little bit different functionality from our standard autoresponders. So full invoice download is right here. So when I get this email like this, if I click full invoice download, I get a download here. Ta-da! Pretty cool. Well, I think it's pretty cool. All right. And then obviously I use that from the library, so I'm going to unlink that and save it. All right. Those are your finishing touches. All right. Obviously, test your site. As you go through testing, I'll just say a few caveats. In my experience setting up e-commerce sites, everything takes about twice as long as you think it's going to take. Once it's set up, it kind of runs itself. So a little bit of time up front, not a whole lot of management time in the long run. And I'll show you reports in a second. I didn't add that as a slide, but give yourself some time to set it up and make sure you test it. You'll find little things and tweaks that you can make as you're testing that really make it perform better. And a link to the demo page to the AWS one is here. I'll share all these assets again when we share all the slides after the conference is over. And then really quickly to touch on reporting for this. How do I get out of here? E-commerce reporting right now is sort of baked into the page itself. So you're going to pull up your reports here in terms of view a quick report or view orders. It's not currently available in the visual reports or the data download reports. in your typical report suite. All right, transaction ID will come through as a standard FCS. If you want itemized transactions, you can get that through the API import or export. But the easiest way to get it is right here. So view orders. Okay. And then choose download. And then it gives you options. You can select orders, cards unfulfilled. Those would be those physical cards. If I said send me a physical card or send my mom a physical card. Cards fulfilled, orders e-cards, and an orders summary. So if I want to see all orders, I think that I should show up. Although it was a test transaction, so I'm not positive. Sorry. Does anybody have any questions while we wait for that to open? Okay. Clearly I need a better computer. It does work, I saw it earlier. But it gives you a full list of all your orders. So if I placed an order for 3 different things, so a shirt and a hat and a protect this species, each one would be listed so you can pull out the ones that are physical items for fulfillment and send that to the team that's fulfilling your items. So that is basically our out-of-the-box e-commerce functionality in a nutshell. Okay? All right. No more questions? All right. Well, I hope you guys use it soon. It's pretty fun. And it has a lot of potential. So thank you.